Hello folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and we are in the Python for data science module. Our today's topic of discussion is data cleaning with pandas. Here we would see how to identify the null values in a particular data set, how to fill them up, and how to drop a particular column with null values or a row with null values, and also how to explicitly drop a particular row or a column from a data set, and we will also identify the duplicate rows that are there in the data sets and drop the duplicate rows using different variations. Now let's jump in. You would see first line of code is I have imported pandas and specified the alias name. This is something that you are already aware from the previous videos. Then moving ahead, I have data which is there in this file film.xls x, and I have loaded the data in the data variable. Now, let's have a look at what is there in data. So we have movie ID, title, genre, then release year, rating, director, and runtime. All right. Now I need to identify which all null values are there. So I have a function called as data.isNull. So if I use this function, it would return true wherever there is a null value. It will actually return the table containing true and false values, and wherever there is a nan or a empty value, you would get true. At this point of time, our data is short, so we can easily have a look at this. You have got true in this release year and the column rating. All right. However, if data is larger, you may not be able to see this very easily. That's the reason um, we would do a sum of true values in a particular column. For that, we have just a sum function to be attached to data.isNull. All right. So this is the way we write. I have a variable null values is equal to data.isNull.sum. That would give me column wise count of how many null values are there in particular column. From this output, I can clearly understand that release year has got one null value and rating has got one null value, and I need to do some treatment with that. Please understand, we cannot just leave those null values, or we cannot just replace it by anything we want. We need to think about how the data is, what number of null values are there for our data. Is it some substantial number of null values, or it's a ignorable one, and accordingly we will replace those null values. Now here you would see I have replaced it with median and mean. In the release year, I have replaced the null value by median, and in the column rating I have replaced the null value by mean. Now first let's see what does the output of data release year dot median gives it to me. Okay, so I'll just take this part of the code, see what is the output that I get on doing a median of releases. So I get 2011. So have a look at data rating dot mean, 8.100. All right, let's have a look at data one more time so that you can easily compare after we replace the null values. Now here you would see rating has got one null value, and release year has got one null value, as we have already seen. All right, now look at this. The release year dot median turns out to be 2011, and rating turns out to be 8.1. So these values should be replaced accordingly. Like for release year, instead of this 9, we should get 2011, and rating, in the rating column, instead of this 9, we should get the value 8.10. That is the mean. And if you want to replace this, we have a function called as fillna. Okay, that's what we have used, and we are trying to replace it. So we just need to mention a column name, and by what you want to replace. Do you want to replace with median? Do you want to replace with mean? Or even it is more to it. We can also do a replacement with something called as mode. That is the value, that is the particular null value or empty value will be replaced by frequently used value in that particular column. Okay, so we are not using that one here, but we are using median and mean. All right, so let's see what's the output that we get here. You would notice that wherever there was null value, it got filled with 2011 as expected, and um, in the release year, and in the rating, we got it we got the null value replaced by 8.1. So it depends on which option is suitable for you. Is it median? Is it mean? According to the data that you are working. Okay, you cannot simply ignore and go on deleting things. You will have to replace at times using mean, median, and mode. All right. And if there is a text column, you would say, hey Vishal, that doesn't work. The mean and median doesn't work. So you can simply write some text like not available, not applicable, NA, whatever you wish to. I understand, because those will be like strings. You cannot take any mean or median on that. All right. Moving ahead, if you want to drop particular rows which have uh, null values, then you can simply drop it. So in this case, I have I had null values on fifth row and sixth row. Let's see if they are getting dropped. Yep, see, fifth and sixth row are dropped. Dropping is a good option when the number of rows with null values are very less compared to the data, the number of rows in the entire data. Say you have 10,000 or 1 lakh rows and only 3 4 rows have some null values. You might prefer dropping those. Then we can also drop columns which have null values. So we have the same function here. We should specify the axis. So axis is equal to 1 states that you are looking for dropping columns. When you don't specify anything, by default it takes as rows. All right, so here if you would see, those columns are being dropped which had null values. Okay, so there may be situations where you don't need those columns, then you can use this option. Else you would prefer doing a filling those values, right? Then irrespective of null value, will you be able to drop a particular column? Yes, that is very much possible. If you want to drop a single column, just mention the column name, mention the axis is equal to 1, and you can very well drop it. I dropped runtime from data. Look at this, I don't have any runtime column. Why we are looking at this is because when we receive data, you may think particular column is not required. Then in that case, you will just simply drop that column and prefer only the columns that are required. So for doing that, you will use this. You may also want to drop some rows. You can use this indices to drop rows and mention axis is equal to 0, and you would not see row 6 and 7 which are mentioned in the drop statement over here in your data. So if you want to delete any specific rows, that is very much possible. And now dropping duplicate rows. First, to drop duplicate rows, we need to identify if at all are there any duplicate rows in the data that we are looking in. All right. So let me check if we have any duplicate rows first. Look at this. You have a duplicate row at index 8 in data. All right. So it duplicates. Let's have a look at data again and see which row it duplicates to. Um, just type in data over here. Yeah, see, 7 and 8, last two rows. These two rows are duplicate. They have duplicate data. So what we will do, we'll try to remove duplicates. Now, if we want to remove both of the rows, then we will have to keep this parameter keep is equal to false. Okay. In this case, both of the rows 7 and 8 will be deleted. That is, 7 and 8 is the index number for that particular row. You would see only 6 rows. However, if you want to keep the last one, that is the 8th one, then you just mention last over here. Then the 8th one will be kept and the other one will be deleted, or in case there would have been 3 4 rows, the other rows would have been deleted and only the 8th one would be retained. If you keep first over here, if you mention first in this key parameter of the drop duplicates function, then you would get the first row that will be kept and the others will be deleted. So this is how you perform data cleaning in Pandas. I hope I was able to make you understand the concept of data cleaning with Pandas, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.